Hi everybody, it's Christina. So I had to share with you, and if you saw my short, I have shorts that I try to post every other day or so, but I found this little guy at Target, and it was an interesting dialogue that I had with my inner child because I had seen this and I ran over to it and I grabbed it and I was so excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing I've ever seen. I love penguins, that's my favorite animal, and this is like a little gingerbread penguin. But I wanted it so bad, and then I had this like other voice that was like, do you really need that? Like, you're a grown-up, you don't need a freaking stuffed animal. And it was interesting because I actually paused, and I think before I started doing a lot of this work, I feel like I would have just gone with that voice and said, you know what, you're right, I have no business buying a freaking stuffed animal, like I'm in my 40s, come on now. But this was a really good moment for me to say, my inner child is telling me that they want this, so I'm gonna go ahead and buy it. I bought it, and I love the little guy, so I can't wait for Christmas to decorate, but I thought that was a really good moment because I was able to listen to my inner child, and I have this cute little penguin, so super happy about that. So on today's video, I wanted to, and I actually have my phone here because kind of what I've been working on is reconnecting with myself. So I lost myself for a very long period of time. I was in a relationship where I put that other person first all the time. I didn't have any space for myself. So when I think about that, it wasn't about me, to the point that I just completely kind of shut down anything that I wanted to do or anything that my preferences, and because it was all about this other person. And I think it's super sad that that's what transpired. But now I'm at a point that I'm in a healthy relationship now. I took some time off when I left that relationship to kind of work on myself as well. But now that I'm in this healthier relationship, I have the capacity, I feel like, to sit and say, let's start reconnecting and reharvesting this connection to myself. Like, I know that sounds a little wild, being 42 years old and not feeling like you really have a good sense of identity. Like, my identity, I was parentified as a child. So my identity is like, I'm the responsible one. I'm the planner. I'm the one that worries about everything so that you don't have to. I'm the one that you call at 2 in the morning if you need something. Like, that's my identity. That's been my identity. But what I'm trying to do now is say, okay, if that's not in the picture, who are you, right? What does that look like? And I found some questions, and these are the ones that I'm kind of really excited about, because I think this is, these are really good. So I'm excited to, and I encourage you, if you have, and I think this could apply to anybody. Like, it's not necessarily if you were parentified, but even if you're like a mom and you feel like you kind of put yourself on the back burner, which moms do, right? Just to be there for their kids and kind of do what they need to for their kids, building up that identity again to say, let me do something for myself. Like, what do I like to do? What are things that I'm really excited about? And hobbies and interests, and what does my perfect day look like, right? So here's one question, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. But the first question is, when I'm not helping or fixing, what role do I take up? And I haven't looked at these before, so this isn't like premeditated here. It's just gonna be kind of me thinking about this one. But if I'm not helping or fixing, and this is what's challenging for me, because I looked at this question and I almost got a pit in my stomach, right? Like, who am I if I'm not that person? So I think for me, I want to be, obviously my values are very much like, I want to be compassionate. I want to be somebody that's kind. I want to be somebody that's fun. Like, I feel like I'm a fun person, but I don't express that as much as I'd like to, right? Like, I'm thinking about even the things that I wear. I very rarely wear makeup. You'll very rarely see me on this channel wearing makeup. I'm pretty basic. I wear leggings. I wear big t-shirts. So that's something that I want to cultivate, because I think that I can be express myself a little bit better. And that's what I'm hoping you'll see over time with this channel is like, 5 years down the line, will I just have this completely different cultivated energy? And because that's me, and I'm like digging it out, right? I'm trying to discover it and figure it out. So I think for me, what role I would take up, I'd still want to be, obviously reliable, but I want to be more so somebody that's looked at not as a person that's going to fix it or the person that you turn to when you need them, but more so the person that has really good energy that you want to interact with, right? I think that's the one for me. So here's the second question. What does being loved look like when I'm not earning it? And this one is like on the billboard with the lights, because man, I'm learning this and it's really hard, but I'm learning that people can love you and they will love you and they do love you, and you don't have to earn it. And those are the people that you really need in your life. To where no matter what, even if you weren't doing anything, even if you were just coasting, you know, you weren't overachieving, you weren't making all this money, you weren't being this success, you know, you would be loved regardless. So I think for me, being loved just means being loved as I am right now, with not doing anything to earn it, not putting in the work, just somebody loving you for that. And I think that's amazing. 3, what is a boundary that I'm proud of setting recently? This is a really good one, because again, I've been working on boundaries also. So I think for me, I'm trying to think if I went over this. I think I did in one of the videos, but I am dating somebody that is a widow. So he lost, and he has children. So he has 2 kids, 11 and 14. So he lost the mother of their kids in a car accident. So I started dating him 3 years ago, and we moved in together. I think it'll going on 2 years that we've been living together. So I think for me, it's been a challenge in general, but it's been really, really beautiful also. So I feel like it's been a really dynamic experience. And for me, when we moved in together, it was super important that I set a boundary for my personal space, right? Because I'm thinking, okay, I'm sharing my life now with not only my boyfriend, but these kids. I don't have children of my own. So this was obviously very new for me. And one of the harder things, but I put my foot down and I said, okay, I need to set a boundary that my spaces in this house that are specifically for me. So for example, I have an office upstairs where I do all my work. I work from home. And then I also have obviously my bedroom and my shower and my bathroom and all of that. So I set a boundary that said, you know what, joint spaces, of course, we're all gonna share these spaces, but it's very important to me that I have my designated space in this house, because I need that. I need to be able to retreat and go into my place and be able to feel comfortable in that. And in some cases, you know, that's super important for me. So me even being able to vocalize that I needed that was huge. So that was definitely probably one of the one I'm most proud of for sure. Next question. Who am I learning to become when I finally get to exhale? And this one makes me emotional. I have my Kleenex box right here, but yeah, this one is difficult because again, for me, I'm always go, go, go. I find the periods of silence and just stillness so hard. And that's what I'm learning, like, why is it so hard? Because I feel like most people would like love that, right? Like I'm in this still moment, I can sit here, I can turn on the TV, I can watch this Netflix series and binge it and be good. But for me, in the back of my head, it's always like, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should be working on this, I should be doing that, I should, you know, there's an episode of Sex and the City where she says, I'm shitting all over myself, and that's totally what I'm doing. So this one is hard for me, I'll be honest. But I think what I am working on also is trying to find stillness and peace in being present. I think meditation is super important. And honestly, like to be 100% honest, I have friends that are into, you know, all the crystals and all the spirituality. And I kind of always thought like, okay, whatever, like that's good, that works for you. But I just never really gave myself the ability to check it out and try it. But after getting so many recommendations from therapists that I was working with and just other people that I was meeting along the way and as I was getting older, I'm like, you know what, let me actually give this a shot, because honestly, I just kind of put that in the back of my mind as that's not something I'm interested in, but I never actually gave it a shot. So I started probably like, I mean, I've done it like here and there, but I'd say like really seriously focused where I'm trying to do it every single day was at the beginning of September. Yes, so last month, the beginning of last month. And it has really helped me just to be able to have that moment of pause, to be able to check in. And I think that's so important because I've never done that before, where I've even given myself any timing to say, okay, let's check in and see where we're at, right? So usually for me, I work from home, like I mentioned. So I will set my alarm clock, wake up, and literally go straight to work. Like there's not, you know, some people get up or, you know, half an hour before and they'll make coffee and they'll go on a walk or something. And me, it was always like, I set my alarm clock, boom, I wake up, 5 minutes later, I'm logged in at work. And I didn't realize that that was just so, awful for myself. And I'm thinking, oh, well, I'm getting this extra sleep. It's great, right? But no, because I'm just going directly and I'm not giving myself that, like, setting that intention for the day, trying to feel what my body feels. And that's, again, another thing that I'm working on completely, is trying to understand, what is my body telling me? And that's just never something that I've actually done before. So this is a huge one for me, is who am I learning to become when I finally get to exhale? Is being okay in the stillness, not feeling like I should be doing something, and just being fine, just sitting. And in the meditation, and believe me, when you first start meditating, if you're not used to it, your brain is like my brain is, and even some days I still go to that place, but I'm getting better at being able to silence the noise and just sitting there and seeing what comes up, because things will come up, and it's really fascinating to see, okay, that, and then like listening to your body, seeing what comes up. Like I was getting stuff and memories from my childhood, that I guess I had put down so low, and just these things kind of pop up, which it's really, really unique and interesting. So that's a good one. I really like that question. I'm gonna give this, okay, so here's the next one, and I think I'll do 2 more, and then I might do a continuation next week. How does it feel to let myself play, rest, or mess up? And that's amazing, right? So I think for me, the first part of that, how does it feel to let myself play? I think this little guy was part of that, right? Listening to your inner child and saying, no matter how ridiculous and how, listen, because I feel like for a lot of us, especially if you were parentified, you didn't have that childhood. So a lot of the inner child just got put away, right? They're locked in a basement somewhere, and you need to have that interaction with them to say, hey, I'm listening to you, and you are important, you are valuable, and I care about you. So I think that's definitely part of it. And I think for me, I'm trying to put that more, and I have to take my own advice, because it's hard, because I work a lot, and I am constantly just trying to do more, right? So for me, just stopping and listening and saying, okay, let's see what the inner child wants to do today. Does it mean I'm going to go to the park and just swing and, that's it? Or I'm going to get out my coloring books and I'm going to color? Like, what does that mean? Listening to that a lot more. And I think taking away that negative connotation that I have in my mind, that rest is bad. I don't know what it is. I feel like for me, there was a period of time where I would see somebody lying on the couch, and just, there would be a little bit of a resentment there. Like, oh my gosh, you're so lazy. Like, you're just literally just sitting there, right? So, and I think for me, it's changing that mentality to be like, yeah, rest is super important, right? So that's a big part of it. And then messing up, I think it's all about grace, right? You have to give yourself grace, having an understanding. And I think for me, I have perfectionism also. So understanding that it's not always going to be perfect, and that you learn so much from your mistakes. And I think that's kind of the biggest piece now that I'm in my 40s. I'm like, you know what? I'll figure it out. And I think that's the anxiety piece too, right? Is for me having the mentality that says, I might not know how to do that now, but my future self will. So there's no need to worry about it and perseverate on it, because we'll get to it, right? We will get to it, and we will get there. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. That one was a little emotional. One more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, and we'll do more next week. But yeah, this is really good, and I hope if you're following along that you're getting some good insight into yourself. And these are all really good things, right? Let's take a pause and let's reconnect with ourselves. What does a peaceful life look like to me, and how close am I? So this is a really good one too, because my therapist had asked me recently, when was the last time that you felt peace? And I took my mom to the Maldives, 2022, so 3 years ago. I took her to the Maldives. Probably one of the best vacations of my life. It was amazing. But if you've ever been to the Maldives, it is a bunch of little islands, right? So it's not like you have a lot to do, right? You're literally there. You have restaurants. You have, in some cases, the resort will offer like activities and things that you can do. But for the most part, you're there, you're on the water. There's not a whole lot of activities. Like, you can ride your bike around. So that was a really good opportunity for me to pause and just put myself in nature, ground myself. I was literally would wake up in the morning, would go have breakfast, and then like go tan for a little while, swim, and then I might read, you know, and just rest. Like that was a really good opportunity for me to just, because one, I didn't have anybody kind of, my mom was there with me, but again, we were both on relax mode, right? So there wasn't appointments, there wasn't things that I needed to do, there wasn't anything else that I needed to plan, there wasn't work that I needed to do because I took the whole time off, right? So that was super important. But that was 3 years ago, and that was the last example I could remember, right? I'm like, that was the only one, because I was basically forced in a scenario where I didn't have all my obligations that I'm so used to having. So, and he told me, he said, you should be able to find peace every day. You should be able to cultivate that peace. And I think that's what I'm learning with the meditation, is that yes, I think if you can figure out a way to kind of center yourself, slow it down, check in with yourself, I think all of that is super important, because there's times when I'm meditating that I just go into this space of bliss, and it just feels so calming and so nice. And then it just gives me that thought, like, why didn't I ever do this sooner, right? Like, I really could have used this in the past. So I think we'll stop there. There's some really good other questions that I have, so I'm going to go ahead and come back. We'll do another round of this next week. But I do encourage you to try some of these questions, see what you get, see what comes up, like listen to your body. And yeah, I think it's really important, right? Really important to reconnect. I find myself getting excited because yeah, it's just a whole other world to me right now that I've gotten past where I was, and I have the space, I have the energy, and I have the openness and the time and all of it to get back to where I need to be with myself. So I see you, and you deserve all the good things, and we'll meet again next week.